Welcome to INN CEO Talks. In this episode, I'm joined by Chris Doulis, the CEO of Golden Independence, which trades on the CSE under the symbol IGLD, and on the OTC under the symbol GIDMF, and on the Frankfurt under the symbol 6NN. Mr. Doulis has over 25 years of experience in metals and mining, having held senior positions in mining equity, research, investment banking, and in industry. He was an award-winning research analyst at Stonecap Securities and PI Financial. Prior to that, Christos was a partner at Griffin Partners, as well as VP Investment Banking, specializing in mining at TD Securities. Most recently, Christos served as CEO for several exploration companies focused on Western Newfoundland. He holds a Bachelor of Arts in Economics from Queen's University and is a CFA charter holder. Christos, thank you for joining me today. Let's start by giving our viewers just a brief overview of your Independence project. I know that you've been with us before, but for some viewers, they may not know about your project. So let's start there and we'll dig in a little deeper.
Absolutely. Always happy to talk about our Independence project, which is our primary and really our only project. The Independence project is located in Nevada, about 20 miles south or so of Battle Mountain. It is in fact adjacent to a producing mine, the Phoenix mine, operated by NGM. NGM is the joint venture between Newmont and Barrick. So the Phoenix project is about a mile, in fact, from the Independence project is about a mile from the Phoenix pit, and our project is in fact entirely within the plan of operations of the Phoenix mine, which is a little bit of a leg up for us on the permitting process, effectively by being in the already permitted operations of an existing mine. It makes it a lot easier to build a new mine. So we're focused on advancing the near surface portion of our project to a PEA, that's a heap leach type of operation, and we're going to be tabling that PEA in mid-November. The PEA is built around the resource that we released in May of this year, which was 684,000 ounces of gold in the measured, indicated, and inferred categories. That's the near surface portion of the resource. There's a deeper portion of the resource that's another 796,000 ounces at 6.5 grams. That's chapter 2 of the Independence story. So in the short term, we're very focused on this near surface resource and advancing it to a preliminary economic assessment in the next couple of months. And then we'll continue to advance the project ultimately towards a production decision.
Now, it's my understanding that you're also looking at phase 2 drilling. Can you tell us what's happening? What's your timeline there? What are your targets?
Well, we actually wrapped up phase 2 drilling recently and just released the last of the results about a week ago. The results followed up on 2 areas of our project, one in the north around hole 47, where we had 530 feet of about 0.5 gram gold and I think it was 3.5 grams silver. That's a great long intercept of kind of run of mine material. So we wanted to continue to expand up there. And then we also had a discovery, very exciting discovery in March when we were doing basically our resource drilling. We hit 24 meters or about 80 feet of 9 gram gold and 25 grams silver just outside of the oxide zone of this heap leach deposit that we're advancing to a PEA. So certainly not associated with the deeper, higher grade skarn in that it's much higher up in the system, and in fact will be captured ultimately by the pit. So we put some holes down there. The good news is that we continue to generate strong results out of the 12 holes from phase 2. The bad news is we didn't replicate the kind of sizzle that we had in that hole 32 of the 80 feet of 9 gram gold and 25 gram silver. But it wasn't that robust of a program. It was 7,500 feet, 12 holes. So, we'd like to go back and do some more drilling, and I'm envisioning a phase 3 drilling for 2022. But given the current state of the capital markets, we'd like to see maybe a little bit of a change in the winds for gold before we decide to raise money and embark on an aggressive drill program right now, or next year, I should say.
Well, the news on the price of gold today would have been encouraging, though, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. Look, I'm a gold bull. I think that we're going to see higher gold prices. I think we've seen a very tough consolidation over a period of a year here since gold kind of hit the high of 2060 in August of last year. I think 1680 is a likely floor here, which for a long time gold miners would have been very excited to have 1680 gold as the price they're selling into. Here we have above that, and nobody seems to care at all about the gold space. So even though it's a challenging time in the space, the senior miners are making tons of money, and they're going to be looking for new projects ultimately. And so we're building a great project in Nevada, which is a great jurisdiction, the number one jurisdiction in the world for gold development, in the shadow of an existing mine, a significant mine. We have a very significant resource on the property already, 1.48 million ounces between the near surface heap leach that we're advancing to a PEA and the deeper, higher grade skarn. And that high grade skarn, while it's a bit of a challenge to drill because it's deep and it costs quite a bit of money, it is a potential world class asset. The skarn next to us, that I think, which was mined out by the mid 90s, was called the Fortitude skarn, and it produced about 2.3 million ounces of gold and 10 million ounces of silver, and was a real company maker. The Phoenix mine, which is now operating, basically is mining the remnants of that skarn, the lower grade stuff. So, I think that the skarn that we have on our property might very well be the kind of thing that could help the Phoenix mine retool itself in the future. And so we're certainly very excited about it. And we're completing our earn-in to 51%, and that'll coincide with the delivery of the PEA. We had a $3 million work commitment to earn in, and we were at 2.6 million on September 1st. So we're very close. So a lot of things are coming together in the next kind of a quarter or so: the completion of the earn-in, the PEA, and then the discussions with our neighbor NGM, as well as any other players, about helping to unlock the deep skarn, which is a very exciting target for us.
So that leads to the question of your long-term objective. Is it to build out or to vend in?
Well, there are a couple of paths that could potentially be followed by Golden Independence. The first, and the one that we've been focused on to date, has been advancing the near surface resource to ultimately to a production decision. And I'm fine to continue to follow that path. It'll be a nice little cash flowing asset once it's built. It certainly won't be a wonderfully large mine, but it will be a nice initial asset for a new junior mining company to have under its belt. But to be clear, I think that that's kind of the tip of the iceberg in terms of where the value lies in this property. So the skarn, which as I said, is a very expensive undertaking to drill. You got to do core drilling as opposed to reverse circulation, and it's much deeper. That potential world-class asset there could be quite interesting to many of the other guys in Nevada, including our neighbor. So if guys come knocking and want to talk about doing a deal on the skarn, whether it's a joint venture or a straight acquisition of the company, I'm certainly open to it. But in the meantime, I have to focus on what I can. I have to bite off what I can chew, and that's delivering the heap leach project up top, much lower capital. I think it's going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 40 million US to build. We'll find out the hard numbers or the first estimate with the PEA. I mean, that same amount would be the amount that it would take to kind of drill off the skarn to a mineable state. So as you can, from that perspective, you can understand they're very different beasts in terms of their capital intensity.
Do you have the money that you need right at the moment to move forward? You talked about possibly going back to the market next year, but at the moment, do you have the money that you need to keep moving along with your current plans?
Absolutely. We have sufficient funds to complete the earn-in by delivering the PEA, and then we'll in fact be left with about $1 million Canadian in the till. So at the end of this year, we'll still be fairly well cashed up, and we'll be able to continue to advance the project. But as I said, we certainly don't think we're going to be spending unless conditions change and we can access more capital. As much as I would love to drill some holes into that skarn, I mean, we're talking about, six-figure diamond drill holes. So when you've got $1 million in the till, that doesn't give you a lot of them. So I'm probably going to continue to devote, assuming that the gold market doesn't improve and we can't raise money at higher prices, our existing capital resources will be devoted to advancing the PEA towards that production decision, which I'd ultimately like to advance the near surface from a PEA, which we're tabling in November of this year, hopefully, to a PFS, a preliminary feasibility study, and that would involve a fairly significant amount of work next year.
Well, you've got an exciting project in a remarkable jurisdiction, as you pointed out, Nevada being the top gold mining jurisdiction in the world, with a lot on the go. I hope you'll come back and give us an update in a couple of months.
Absolutely. Well, watch this space. It's been a slow summer from us in terms of news, but I think things will heat up in the next quarter. So we will complete our earn-in and deliver the PEA, and there might be some other news coming. Who knows? Always working on things because there's always opportunity in Nevada. Thank you very much for taking the time to check in on how we're doing.
Great, and I look forward to seeing you again. Thanks a lot.
Thanks so much.